Words really have power. And the things that you want for yourself in life, you have to speak those things over your life. Oh, hey, best friend.
Hey, best friend.
How you doing today, best friend?
I'm doing good, actually. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I mean, this episode is one of our favorite topics. We're going to be speaking today about know your worth.
Yes.
Know your worth.
The healing journey is ahead.
Yes, I like that.
If we've learned anything this season, it's that too many of us are out here building someone else's dream.
When we don't even know what our own dream look like. How we out here building for somebody else and we don't know what our own dream look like.
And that's a word right there. That's a word.
Like, how you gonna build somebody else's thing and you don't have your thing together?
Ooh, self-reflection.
Yeah.
So, Kate, so what's the price of selling yourself short?
The price of selling yourself short could be a lot of things. It could be you not reaching your full potential. It could be you not going after the job that you desire. It could be pursuing the spouse that you would like to have. It could be you not going after and purchasing your dream home. Selling yourself short could be a lot of things. I think when selling ourselves short, we don't realize that the effects it could have on us later by not going after the things we truly desire, because we're settling at that point. If we're not going for what we really want in life, we're settling. And I mean, I don't know how you feel about settling, but
I'm not a big fan of settling.
yeah.
Like, I don't want to settle with anything, especially not relationships, not, sometimes I'm not going to lie, I have settled with jobs, and I only settled with that job because I probably was having my way and I got comfortable,
Yeah.
and it was easy or something like that. But eventually I knew that I had to leave that spot for sure.
Right. And I think the cost of settling is when we get up in age or later, we realize down the road that, all the things that we really wanted to do, the things that we really had in our mind to do, we never got around to doing them because we just settled in what was comfortable at the time.
I agree.
And I think everything that we like or we love is beyond that point of comfort. You got to go beyond comfortability to get the things that you like or the things you love.
You definitely got to, put yourself in a kind of uncomfortable space for you to get to that higher stepping stone.
Right. I'm not going to lie. I'm seeing it every day. Like I told you, even with my nieces and my nephews, they're breaking generational curses. Like, these new kids, they're fearless. They don't care. Like, you're not gonna lock them into a job. They're not scared to quit a job. If they go on a job they work that job for 2 or 3 days and they don't like how things are moving and shaking around there, they're not afraid to quit and go out and get another job. I feel like when we got jobs, we was holding on, like holding our jobs tight because it's like, oh, we got a job.
The environment was different. The times were different. That was a time of people got into like retirement and was saying like, oh, you stay here for this amount of time, you're gonna reach this level. And now with social media, you can create your own job, honestly.
And a lot of the new generation they're creating their own jobs. They're their own bosses. And I must say, I'm impressed. Like, the fearlessness that they have about entrepreneurship and just
going out there and getting
true to what they want to do in life, they are really going out there and getting it. And I love that for them.
I agree.
Yeah. Because I think, like you were saying, like, back in the old days, we were dependent, but that kept us trapped in a certain box because we were dependent on jobs. It was like, okay, if you get a job, you better keep that job. You work that job till you retire. You get a 401k. You got to be there for 20 years. These are the things that were instilled in us. And so we had that kind of like at the back of our mind, like, okay, once you get a job, this is security. This is stability. You work this job until you retire from it. And I think now with this new generation, They like, no, I can hit big tomorrow. I can get on there and do YouTube,
Right.
hit 1 million, 2 million streams, and I'm gonna be up and I ain't gotta never go to nobody's
Right.
job. Yeah, so I feel like that is that their self-worth is a lot more stronger and they are a lot more aware and more conscious of their
Yeah,
self-worth.
and two, they have the resources and things are different. You couldn't have your phone out at jobs. You wasn't able to talk on the phone. You wasn't able to record. Now, if they manager make them mad and they working at a fast food joint, they can record the floors and not everybody in hot water. You know what I mean? And it wasn't possible for those things to like transpire. Or people are now speaking out against management and saying the things that's happening in the day-to-day workspace. It wasn't like that back in the day when we were coming up and when we were working. You couldn't do that type of stuff. We just didn't do that type of stuff.
Right.
Now, definitely they're more vocal and they just take charge in doing a lot of things that they want to do versus what they have to do.
Okay, so when did you first realize that you were worth more than you were accepting?
When I stopped looking at materialistic things, like when I got out of, oh, just because somebody's, buying you this and that, I realized those are just materialistic things that can be bought and rebought again. And sometimes, and dealing with somebody that probably was an Indian giver, yeah, they probably bought you those nice things, but you make them mad, they're
take
taking
them
it back from you. So I realized that I could do this myself and I'm going to do it myself because nobody can't take it from me if I got it myself and I done it myself.
Right. I think the first time I realized I was worth more than I was accepting is like just listening to all the talk about how different things are worth different prices, like based on where the location, based on the proximity. For instance, you can go to the grocery store and buy a bottle of water for like $2, but then that same bottle of water at a convenience store might be $3. But then if you go to an airport, that bottle of water might be $7. And then you go to a high-end luxury steakhouse, that same bottle of water might be $10. I started to realize, okay, girl, depending on, where you position that and what you're doing, you shouldn't be accepting like certain things. So you need to like step your game up when it comes to letting people like kind of like tell you what you're worth. Nobody knows what you're worth. I mean, with self-worth, you have to feel like you have to know that you are capable of the things that you want out of life and the things that you want to accomplish, and you can't let anybody down talk you or make you feel like you can't get those things or you can't go after those things, achieve those things. It goes back to also to like self-affirmations, telling yourself that you are worthy, you are this, you are that. So I think that was kind of the first time I really like sat down and started to delve in, okay, self-worth. You're worth whatever you say you're worth. And you got to know that in your heart. And you got to stand on that.
So, Kate, how do you feel about wanting the lifestyle and not the partner?
Marrying for money, essentially. That's what it comes down to. I just feel like I can make my own money, if that makes sense. I know how to go out there and hustle and make my own money. So I'm never going to be okay with being married to a person's money and not them. You get me? Because if you do something wrong, it don't matter how much money you got. If you do something wrong, I'm going to still be like, I don't like you, or, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not a girl that money can curve those factors for me. I got to be into you. If I'm not into you, money is not going to change that.
I agree.
Have you ever seen friends like lose everything that they've worked for because they built it on somebody else's foundation?
Yes, I've seen that because it's not yours. So essentially they can kick you out the door at any point. So, yes, I done seen friends, get into relationships and the guy is the breadwinner or he has everything. And then when he's tired of her, he discarded her.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm really not a fan of that. Like you said, I'd rather make my own money and do my own thing. And if I meet somebody that's equivalent or more, we build together, we work together, and you know, we work on it like that. But I just don't want to be with the guy that has it all, and I'm like with the crumbs, because I feel like some men can kind of like
Hold that over your head.
hold it over your head or take advantage.
Yeah.
So okay, so what made you start taking your financial independency seriously?
Ooh. I think I started taking financial independence seriously once my mom passed away. That was like a light bulb went off. That was like a turning point for me, because it's like your mom is the one person in the world that you know is going to always have your back. So when you lose that person, that is a scary feeling, because you no longer have that like cushion, or you don't have that safe place where you can go. So I knew from that point moving forward, okay, it's like, yeah, you have your dad, but dads are not like moms. And I have my dad is A1, day one.
Right.
Like he gonna stand in the paint. Like my dad is a good dad, but your mom is nothing in this world like your mom. So like once I lost my mom, I knew that I had to get on my game. And I mean, I had to get on it hard, because I knew I would never be able to depend on anyone else in the world. So that's what made me start taking my credit seriously, because I knew I was going to have a place to live eventually. Whenever you need a place to live, the first thing they run it is credit. You need credit and money for a place to live. So I started to take those things very seriously once my mom passed away.
I agree, because I feel like your parents, they had you. You know, that's who you depend on.
Right.
So it's like once you don't have that anymore, that can toughen you up and strengthen you in ways you never thought you can be strengthened in.
Trust me, you will snap out of it so quick. You'll snap out of it quick. If you got to get in there and do it on your own, losing a parent will definitely catapult you into that, because like I said, it just feels like you don't have that safety net anymore.
Right.
That's like your parent is your safety net. And so once I felt like I didn't have that safety net, I really stepped up
And put it in gear.
I stepped up. Okay, so why do we still see so many women choosing security over happiness?
I feel like people just want to have the glitz and glam. They don't care about nothing else but the glitz and the glam. Whatever it has to, like, some women don't even care if it comes with abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse. It's just they're secure, they're stable in a home or something like that. They have a good car or a nice car, their dream car, whatever it may be. They're just looking at it as, I got this, I got that. But it's not, they're not happy though. You know what I mean? Right. Like their happiness is definitely at a decline and they're miserable, but they got money. You know what I mean? So I just feel like it's the influence from social media. I put that on, I say it's social media influence, because so many women just glamorize the great life instead of showing the real. And most people don't show the downside of their lives because they're not going to let people in, like the general public, just into their lives to critique them or to judge them. Unless it was like a big blowout in a relationship, and they still, hide behind, little hints and stuff like that. They're not gonna tell the youth or women the real that happened because they don't want to look a certain way. So I feel like with everybody masking the reality of the glitz and glam, that's what the problem is.
I think self-worth has a lot to do with that also, because I think women will stay in a situation because it's secure. It's what they know. It's like it's a safe space for them, and they don't think that they can get probably better, or they don't think that they can. Yeah, they get comfortable. They don't think that they can move on, or they don't have the desire to move on because they feel comfortable in the space that they're in. So they'll just lock in there.
Or they feel like they probably can't get better, or like say for instance you're dating a millionaire, And you know, like, okay, you could probably get another millionaire, but
It's gonna be hard.
It's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm gonna just stay with this millionaire and just take what he dishes out, because they'll say like the biggest saying now is all men cheat, and I don't really believe in that.
Right.
I really don't. Not all men, but I
Right.
feel like the mass majority, don't get it twisted,
Right.
do cheat.
But there's still some good,
But
faithful men out there that
exactly,
don't
that's what
cheat.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like you can have it all. Like, as I'm getting older, I realize you can have your all your desires can be met.
Yeah.
All your needs can be met. All your wants can be met. It's just, it takes time. It takes you to shut down
Work on yourself.
and work on yourself to get those things. Because I can honestly say I was at that point where like I literally like shut down all the crap, like all the BS, and I ended up getting exactly what I want, and to be fulfilled and happy and joyful for waking up in the morning to my partner, to going to sleep with my partner, and having a smile on my face, not to worry about, oh, my partner's doing something. We have a line of open communication. You know, like I said, you're not watching them every day, all day throughout their day to know what's going on. But
Right.
I trust my partner enough to know that he's not gonna jeopardize our relationship for just anything or
Right.
anybody. I feel like overall he's gonna have my best interest at heart,
Yeah.
and gonna value me as his partner.
Do you think you had, like, with self-worth, like a mid-30s or 30s awakening where you realized, like, okay, I'm no longer doing these things. I'm no longer accepting these things.
I feel like when I was in my 20s, I've been said what I'm not accepting. You know what I mean? Like, I remember being in an abusive relationship, and after that, I told myself, never again.
Yeah.
Like, I'm never gonna accept just, even being hush mouth or about something, or like, I'm gonna get myself out of it. And I'm gonna, first of all, it's not gonna happen. Like, I'm gonna stand up for myself. I feel like back then I was just so young and unexperienced that I
Right.
just wasn't vocal enough, or, mature.
You didn't know how to navigate
Yeah,
those spaces.
I definitely didn't know how to navigate those spaces. I was only looking at the security side of things. I didn't see that my self-worth was declining. I was declining as a person. Like, my everything declined. My trust for people, just everything.
mental
Mental health
health.
was I was depressed. I went through a lot. Like, I literally didn't even want to live anymore, you know? So it was like, I was really going through a rough time. And when I literally, and I mean, that was my turning point. Like, that was my soul turning point, where I learned myself. Like, I took a step back to know I don't want to date right now. I want to just get to know me, like, and what I really want. So once I finally got out of that situation, that was my motivation for me to look at myself in the mirror, because I didn't even like myself anymore.
Right.
Like, I would look at myself like, I used to feel like I was that girl, and like, oh, I'm just, worth something. And I knew I was, but at that time, dealing with somebody that, don't feel that about you, or, had that type of control over you, you lose all of those things. So I had to regain all the positive about myself, all the things that I thought was great. And I've always been a vocal person, but I wasn't vocal then. Like, when I say, like, I'll just shut up about it or whatever. And I feel like that motivated me too. And it also made me more independent. That's what caused me to be independent and to know that I'm never gonna rely solely on a guy. I'm gonna always, even if my guy could be a billionaire, I still wanna have some sort of income of my own. Just so that I don't feel like I'm relying on somebody, because at any time that can change. Anything could happen. A person could pass, or just leave you, or anything. So I always want to be my own backup plan.
Yeah.
So, Kate, how is it losing yourself into wifehood? Like, your single self is gone. You're a wife.
And
Put up.
Yeah.
How is it? Like,
It can be a lot at first. I'm not gonna lie, because it's something new for you, and so you want to do everything right. You want the marriage to be a success, and you want your spouse to be happy. You want to make your spouse happy, and that could lead to you overperforming, doing things that you don't necessarily have the physical or mental capacity to keep up over a long period of time. Marriage is a long game. So I feel like in order to not lose yourself in wifehood, you still need to do some of the things or have some of the routines you had that made you feel self-worth when you were single. Like, it's okay to have a girls' day by yourself or go out with the girls. You don't always have to be under your spouse. You can take some time to yourself and hang out with your girls like you would normally do if you weren't married. I think people are under the perception that, oh, once you become a wife, fun is over. You can't have no more fun. Like, you got to be with your spouse all the time, or you got to be with your kids, or, and it's like, it's not like that. Like, I can make time for my husband and be a good wife and still go out with my friends and have my me time. And, because all of that is a part of your self-worth, being able to connect and
personal identity.
Yeah, it looks. Oh my God, that's a big thing for me. I never wanted to lose my identity inside of my marriage. Yeah, I'm married, but I still want to be me at the end of the day. And I think it's sometimes hard to navigate that space. So with my husband's blessings, of course, I still do a lot of the things that I did when I was, single. It makes me feel like it's not really a big change, that helps me with the journey because he allows me to be in the way that, I am used to being. I don't
He
have
loved
to
you
like,
for you.
yeah, he loved me for me.
He's not trying to change you because it really wasn't a negative towards you.
Right.
It was just like, yeah, if I'm going out with my girls, you ain't got to worry about,
Right.
the extraness or whatever.
Right.
I'm just really going out with my girls
Yeah.
and having a good time.
Yeah.
We all need that.
Yeah. Was there ever a time you realized you didn't know who you were anymore? Like, you lost yourself and you didn't realize, like, or you realized, like, who am I? Like, how did I get to this point?
Yes, that's why I said, like, even like I said, going through that relationship, that abusive relationship, it taught me to be like, it made me look at myself different. I was like so disgusted with myself because it's like, like I'm like, I'm quick to be like, girl, you got to deal with that. So it's like but as I was young and, coming into my 20s,
you were learning these things.
I was learning these things and I was learning myself. And so it was always taught in our communities to, get with somebody that's older and he's doing this and he's doing that. So it wasn't taught or it wasn't talked about to just be with that guy that loves you for real. You know what I mean? Now I realize be with that guy who loves you like unconditionally because that guy won't do that to you. That guy won't make you feel that way. That guy won't treat you in a disgraceful manner or a distasteful manner. He will like honor you as his woman. He will take care of you. He will protect you. He will, sacrifice for you versus, hurt you or harm you. And he would have patience. He would communicate. That's what I seen as I, got older and got more mature. You don't have to deal with the negativity. And even like I said, even with guys, if I see them being negative or I see they are too controlling, like I shy away from them. That's not even my type of guy.
Yeah. You back off because you already been there, done that. You've experienced that.
Or even just any type of control. Like I want somebody definitely that's going to let me be me. And that's why you like me, right? You like me because I'm who I am, like, and I presented myself as such.
Yeah.
So if somebody's just trying to change you, they're trying to take advantage of you or they're trying to control you. And nobody should want to control you. You should be able to be your own person and have your own identity and still be able to be respectful of your marriage or your relationship. So, Kate, how different is the woman you are now from who you thought you'd be?
I mean, I always knew I would be successful and have, the things that I want because those were the things that I thought about constantly. Like, those were the things you think about the most are the things you manifest. So I always knew that, I would be well off in life. Like, I would go to college. Like, I had these preconceived ideas of my life in my head long before I started living the actual life that I live. If that's, I basically manifested this life out of just my thoughts in my head. Like, so I'm exactly who I thought I would be. And I'm not being cocky or nothing, but I'm exactly who I thought I would be. I never thought I would be anything different than what I am now. Like, I always saw myself being successful. I always saw myself as a high earner. I always saw myself traveling the world, having my dream house, my dream car. Like, I've always seen that for me. So the way I envision myself is basically I've manifested this reality that we living in. So I've always seen myself in this light.
I always felt like speaking things or even like thinking of them, like dreaming about those things, like it. I feel like it always was your positive thoughts. Yes. That's why I like speaking positivity over my life. Like I'm never saying like, oh, I'm broke. Like I'll just be like, I don't got it today. Yes. I hate to say like, just
words have power. Right. I don't know how many times we're gonna say that, but words really have power. And the things that you want for yourself in life, you have to speak those things over your life.
Of course.
Yeah.
So, Kate, how do you identify patterns from your upbringing and breaking the cycle?
With like things you were instilled in as a child that may have messed with your self-worth.
Or you know how the traditional way, like say for instance, your mom probably cooked every day or whatever. Right. And
oh girl, I don't put them burdens on myself from them women back in the day were different kind of women. Okay, like the times were just different. I mean, now I can't look at what my mom used to do. My mom was a hell of a woman. Like, go to work all day, come home, cook hot meals every night. Like, those are some hard shoes to fill. So it's like, it's not that I don't think I can live up to that. It's like, do I really want to live up to that? Like, that's a lot. Like, if she had a choice, would she wanted to have done all those things? Like, I feel like I have a choice in life where I've carved out my life sort of like the way I want it. So like, for instance, I don't have kids. So I have a husband, but I don't necessarily have to come home and cook every night. I can order food or go grab takeout. So I just think my lifestyle in general is just a lot different from the norm because I'm like, I'm married, but I don't have kids. So I feel like I get a little more leeway on the things that I'm able to do because I don't have certain responsibilities, like being a mother. Yeah, I have a husband, but both my husband and I work a lot. And we understand that each other works a lot. Right. And so we know that he knows I'm tired when I get home, just like he's tired when he gets home. So he's not going to require me to cook 5 meals out the week or something like that. He's my husband. He in there with me. So he like, babe, like, don't worry about cooking. Right. Just grab us something to eat or, let's order something in tonight. And I love that.
Right. Yeah. I feel like that's the compassion about being in a relationship. And I feel like somebody who wants you to, it's some women that love to cook and that's something they like to do. Right. So it doesn't bother them. But I feel like for myself, my partner is the same way. Like, he know that I'm working, even if I work from home or however, I still have to be mentally able to do those things every day and get up at 7 o'clock and work. And, still have to cook. I'm probably tired when I get off. I'm probably drained mentally. I just probably want to relax. So, and he work as well. So I wouldn't even if he was a cooker, I wouldn't expect that from him 5 days out of the week or 7 days out of the week. I feel like, give yourself a break, like relax, kick your feet back or whatever, and just chill. It's plenty of restaurants. It's plenty of things we can do to provide a meal on the table.
All right, guys, we're at that point in the segment where we're going to go into Oh Hey Best Fren mail. You guys delivered. We asked, you delivered. So here's some Hey Best Fren mail. Dear Vernika and Monique, I started therapy 2 years ago thinking it would be like those Instagram posts, cute little breakthroughs and self-care moments. Instead, it wrecked me. I uncovered trauma, realized my father's absence shaped every relationship with men, and discovered that my mom's quirks were actually emotional manipulation I'd normalized. As I did this work, I ended my 5 year relationship, distanced myself from surface level friends, and created boundaries with family who call my journey dramatic. This is the part nobody talks about. Therapy is lonely and takes way longer than those inspirational quotes suggest. But now I'm slowly emerging on the other side. I'm dating myself for the first time, making decisions based on what I want, not what keeps others from leaving, and building friendships with substance. The woman I am becoming is worth every tear and every lonely Friday night. But I wish someone had told me how hard the middle part would be. There were nights I questioned everything, wondering if I should have just stayed asleep to my issues, because at least then I had people around me. How can I help other women understand that therapy isn't always cute self-care moments? That sometimes it's sitting in your car crying after sessions, losing people you thought you would be forever, and completely rebuilding your life. How do I tell them it's still worth it, even when it feels like you're falling apart? I want them to know the pain is purposeful, even when healing feels impossible. With gratitude, your realness. All right. I would say that, how do you feel about therapy? Really quick.
I remember going to therapy and it was very beneficial. I feel like it made me understand a lot of things, because you can vote, you can openly talk to this person without judgment,
Yeah.
and which is, it sounds crazy. You should be able to talk to your friends like about that type of stuff too, but it's just like somebody that doesn't know you at
A
all
third
as a
party,
third
a
party.
unbiased party.
Right. And so when she mentioned certain things and she made me look at it in different perspectives, I understood fully where she was coming from. And so that made me look into myself and gather me more so than playing the blame game, or just being comfortable with myself. Something like I said, sometimes you get comfortable and you feel like, oh, I'm just content with this. And it made me, be I had accountability. I had to take accountability for my own actions and putting myself into certain situations.
All right. Okay, guys. Well, that's our take on therapy. We hope that helps. If you feel like you're a person that needs therapy, I 100% wholeheartedly support therapy. We're going to go ahead and close out, guys. We'll see you next week. Same time, same friendship.
Bye, guys.